What's up? It's Too Much Dip. It's our sports podcast. My name is David. I'm going to host. Some people call me Dave. Some people call me Y2 Dave. Whatever you want to call me, I'm here to host. Here's a guy who goes by many names. It's Dylan Shivery.
Hello, Dave. Hello, KJ. Just like to congratulate Chris Beard on finding new employment. Shout out Ole Miss. Shout out Chris Beard and his family.
Yeah. Well, one of the prominently placed topics of conversation in our sports party segment that we'll be doing in probably about 45 minutes. But,
Hey,
yeah.
I'll say it. Good coach. Dude
Okay.
can coach some basketball, man.
Hey, KJ, live from Wisconsin, my guy.
Oh, many are asking me to bring this up on air. I was going to ask you guys right before the pod separately. For several years, you guys have hinted at it. Are you actually the ones that got SVP or SVP? I'm not sure what happened with SVP over the weekend, but was that Scott Van Pelt related?
No, common misconception. That was
Fair.
SVB. B is in bank, not pelt. But of course, if you're new here, or he's referring to that time we almost had Scott Van Pelt working for this company, which would have been a crazy move for him. But I mean, he was right there. He had the offer. He didn't sign it. And in fact, he never really said no. So offer still stands.
Well, I won't ask anything about the rumors about Mina Kimes' contract negotiations taking a little longer than ESPN would like either. Who knows who else is in conversations with it? Who knows?
Didn't we talk about Mina Kimes earlier too?
We did.
We've had this is good. KJ's got
No surprise that KJ would bring her up.
he's got circling back brain.
You got something, Brandon.
It's always been the case, even when recording in person in studio. I would not be present during the recording of the episode. Something that's not even topical to that day would come up, and randomly it would happen. I just call that, riding the same wave.
KJ, I like that Too Much Dip quarter zip you're rocking.
One of my favorites.
God, I don't even have one of them.
my favorites.
Get one of them.
I should get one.
Actually, you can't anymore.
Yeah, you can't. Those aren't available.
cannot.
But there is other stuff. The Too Much Dip bar hat that's not prominently featured behind you anymore.
I think Randy swapped it out with this other John.
Quit effing around with the studio, Randy.
Leave the Johns in place, man.
It's Bit Madness. I
Hey,
put the Bit Madness.
Hey,
hat
Randy,
up.
did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your mic went down. No, that was me.
Oh.
That was me. Randy did have a good weekend. Real good weekend.
I want to know how the event was Friday.
You must be
before we get
talking
into
about
things.
Washed Fest.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Exactly.
The people showed up, KJ. Palomas were flowing. We had a couple Palomas.
Did you have one? I didn't
Merch,
have one.
They were very good.
Fuck.
Merch was distributed. Early Birds, or good friends at Early Bird CBD were there. Dr. Edward Zuckerberg showed up. You might otherwise know him as Mark Zuckerberg's father. He was there.
Are we sure that was him?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was going with it earlier.
He's a dentist, KJ. There's a dental panel right after Wash Fest.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't get up on that panel because they used to call you the dental tam, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. That was a different time of my life, though. I'm out of practice. I wouldn't have much to say.
Right.
Yeah, Zuck was there. It was sick, dog.
KJ, why didn't you fly down?
Well, see, that's the thing I wanted to get to. I am flying down for the fest. It just seems that we may have our dates mixed up. So, little breaking news. There will be a special guest in studio next week. Who knows who it will be, but it's probably going to be me.
Crank it, Glenn! Rick Ross! Woo!
That's sick.
I'm pretty stoked for that. I forgot that was next week.
Your boy is very stoked for Brandon's stoked lead. Way off that trip. I don't know why I tried to force Brandon Stokely in there.
Yeah, you didn't have to. You were doing great. That's okay. Everybody has a heat check. You pulled up from half court. It's okay.
I glanced at my notes and it just went straight to the top of the list.
Can I ask a question? I consider both of you two's guys the types who would follow such a thing. Academy Awards last night. the in memoriam segment. It seems more and more frequently that they are leaving out some relatively big names. Is this a intentional omission so people like us will talk about it and so Twitter will get mad and it generates buzz? Because okay, I didn't watch. You will be surprised to learn I was not tuned in to watch the Jimmy Kimmel led Oscars. However, missing from the in memoriam segment, which is where the actors who have passed this year are featured, Paul Sorvino, Anne Heche, Tom Sizemore, Leslie Jordan, Charles B. Dean. Mainly the first three are the three, but mainly Paul Sorvino and Anne Heche. She's been in some good stuff, but Tom Sizemore, he's been getting a lot of play on this show recently, mainly due to his work in Heat and Saving Private Ryan. But Paul Sorvino, we're not doing that, and we did Ray Liotta and not Paul Sorvino.
Well, Tom Sizemore, I think I understand. I guess, am I to believe that this is from like show to show is their calendar year, or we're doing in the year of 2022?
KJ, you're not going to get that answer here.
So if Sizemore falls in that category, I get it. And Heche definitely flew off the rails last year, so that should be included.
Sorvino passed summer of 2022 though, so he definitely would qualify either way. Yeah, that's weird. That's a name, Dave.
There was another.
Good fellas.
There's another that's not like somebody I was super familiar with. So I will, claim ignorance there, but the Academy should know. Gonna butcher the name. Charby Dean Krek. I don't know her. South African actress who passed last year, like due to like a sepsis complication. Kind of a weird story. Either way, she should have been included as she was like a lead actor in one of the like movies or film of the year like candidates.
Yeah,
So it should have been somebody on their radar.
it's a little wild. This is probably a question that our friends at the Brunch podcast could address. Those guys have the best, hands down, the best Academy Award coverage. You won't find better anywhere else. And that includes the E channel.
They know their shit, Dave.
They know their stuff, man. They actually watch these movies. They don't just look at the titles and make jokes like some podcasts. Our podcast, pretty much. Let's get to what everybody tuned in for. The sports, specifically the NFL. Because the last 2 hours have been very busy, as predicted. It's not being officially reported, but Trey Wingo is saying that he has heard Aaron Rodgers to the Jets is a done deal. You have Jets players tweeting like they're, how excited they are to play with Aaron Rodgers. So I'm assuming it is done. It's just funny that none of the national outlets have run with it yet. Thoughts? I think we all assumed this was going to happen, but now that it's here, how do you feel?
As a Wisconsin resident, I am not on my post of monitoring the local news or sports media as closely as I should. But with that said, I will have a better report for next week. How do I feel? About damn time. Gotta say, that is a weathered man who overthinks and under delivers to a certain extent. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do in a really difficult division and an even tougher conference, I guess you could say. AFC quarterback roster continues to be loaded.
Agree.
Yeah, obviously Garrett Wilson. I mean, that's a much more talented roster, I would say, than Green Bay is at this point. And throwing to a guy like Garrett Wilson, Packers just refused to give him. I mean, of course that he had Devontae for years there, but and there seemed to be no rush to replace Devontae with like a really good weapon at receiver. I get it for him. That's a kind of an exciting team. Quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, they might actually be somewhat decent. We'll see.
Dylan, I'm glad you brought up Garrett Wilson because he is tweeting, as NFL players have been doing more and more lately. He says, "I can finally enjoy my vacay now."
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the implication there is that he wasn't enjoying it up until that moment. He also said, "Y'all should see the smile on my face, or on me right now." RN, actually. It's slang for right now.
Right.
Yeah. This
Well,
if you're Zach
do you-
Wilson right now, how you feeling?
I mean, getting replaced by a top 5 quarterback
Sure,
all time?
I'll give you that.
All time?
mm,
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. You want to say top 10? Yeah. Top
Statistical.
5.
Definitely top 10.
KJ, who's your top
He's
5?
got one Super Bowl.
Give us
but-
your top 5, KJ. Go ahead.
Rodney Pete, Randall Cunningham, Andre Ware,
It's
Tony
good.
Banks, and
That's good. Tony
Quincy Carter.
Oh,
That's good.
man,
That's a
you
good
nailed
list.
You absolutely
Dante
nailed that.
Culpepper.
And then
is,
Aaron
my
Rodgers
omission
is
there,
somewhere like
replaced Tony
probably
Banks
7 to
with
10
him.
for KJ, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're Zach Wilson, you're like, okay, it sucks that that my teammates seem to be elated. This is going on, but like, I kind of get it. You know,
He's somewhere watching from afar with a fedora with safari flaps, reading the tweets. Oh. What the hell?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I don't know. What is so Green Bay? They roll Jordan Love. What are they going to do? They're going to go after
They
their quarterback?
believe in J Love.
That guy stinks.
You haven't seen him in practice.
Is it Tank City time in Green Bay? That guy stinks.
No, I think they're serious. They actually are going to run with him. I don't know. KJ, you're up there. What are the streets saying, man?
I mean, if he's going to the Jets, you're getting something back. So you got to imagine that's going to play into it. I venture to guess that they're going to be comfortable with at least a year of Jordan Love. Garoppalo, we'll get to in a moment, is signing in Las Vegas, so that's one off the board. You're going to have names like Andy Dalton available.
Big
you're
name.
gonna have
That's a name
names
you're
like,
familiar with.
I don't know what that means.
Oh.
You're a big fan.
Well, I just mean other quarterbacks. I mean, next to Jordan Love, I'll take Andy Dalton 10 times out of 10. I think we'd agree. You might have Zach Wilson available. Who knows? So they're going to do something besides Jordan Love, even if it's just Jordan Love for this year. Oh, Cole, I'd go with Brissett, Jacoby Brissett.
Okay. He'll go out there.
I was gonna
He'll
say
win you
Jacob or
6.
Kobe.
You're looking to win more than
He'll
6.
win you 6 if that's what you want.
6 isn't going to get you in the playoffs,
I don't-
especially with the expanded schedule.
He'll get you 6 though.
He'll also lose you 11.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're in the AFC South, like that's just not going to cut it. Real quick, my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers. Are we sure that Garrett Wilson's tweet was not just that he like finally got to the front of line at like Senior Frogs, and he's just on spring break? Or he's at
Ooh.
PCB. He heard about the curfew for all the young kids. He's like, okay, more for me. This is great. I can enjoy this.
Yeah, that he found a guy. He found the dude on the beach who sells mota out of a suitcase.
Do you know where Garrett Wilson played his high school football?
No,
No idea.
Hoover High.
Round Rock.
Lake Travis.
I was close. I was
What?
in the ballpark.
I don't think he played all 4 years there, but he finished his high school football days at Lake Travis High School, which is bizarre to me.
So who was his QB? That's putting you on the spot, and I don't expect you to
I
know
don't
the
know.
answer. But it was somebody we know.
I don't know.
Had to
Texas
be.
Texas
Klubnik,
obviously
maybe?
missed on him.
Or is he Westlake?
Who?
Well, it's not Klubnik. What was the one? It might have been a Brewer, one of the Brewer brothers, I would guess. Is that not Lake
The Brewer
Travis,
Bros were Lake Travis.
If
Charlie.
Klubnik was class 22, Garrett Wilson class of 19. So there was
But
a year.
Klubnik
If he
was,
was there all 4
Westlake, I
years,
think.
there was a year of overlap. but
So who
probably not him.
took the L from Texas? Who was the head coach at that time? Was that Charlie Strong or was that Herman?
that was Herman?
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
I think that was Herman. Yeah, that was
Pre,
Herman. Anyway, I
Sark.
found that interesting.
That's fun fact.
On Aaron Rodgers, unsolicited follow recommendation. Matt Leinert's Instagram game isn't terrible. I realize like all my random like parenting accounts I've been following have been like, hey, I'm going to sit in the closet and talk to you mom to mom, like Instagram reels. And I'm like, okay, clearly this ain't for me. I need to up my like dad accounts. Matt Leinart was where I found an opportunity. He was at some quarterback clinic with Max Duggan, Desmond Ridder, who's the Falcons quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers was present. Like that type of event does not scream Aaron Rodgers to me. So maybe his like actual in-person persona is, him player to player or teammate to teammate is much more personable than he is with the media. If that's the case, best of luck to him. That's what they lacked with Zach Wilson, it sounds like.
I think Aaron Rodgers is generally well liked by people
Yeah.
around the league. I think it's mainly media. Aaron made the mistake and is currently making the mistake of doing what most people who find transformative experiences through psychedelics, this is something that they run into, and it's talking about it too much. And I understand I bet if I were to go through something like that, I would want to talk about it too. I would want to share that knowledge. But to regular people who aren't super online, who don't know, who don't listen to Rogan, who aren't familiar with Aubrey Marcus, they're just like, dude, what? Shut the fuck up. Everything he says, I'm like, man, I'm glad he found, that's cool. It sounds like it's working for him. That's awesome. But it's like, I don't know.
It's like when someone starts a vegan diet for the first time and
Exactly. Keto.
They take on the personality of someone who's KJ is tripping out on screen right now. I can't look at him.
Oh, dude, KJ just entered
Totally
the
distracting.
DMT portal.
But yeah, it's like going vegan after 35 years, and you're like, "Hey, I'm the vegan guy now," and you're gonna hear all about it.
It becomes your personality.
Yeah,
it really does. Like keto. Remember when I was keto? A lot of people still talk about it because of the gains that I made.
Remember when you started intermittent fasting, and you just like would not stop?
Still doing it intermittently.
That's it. Good for you, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
What's for dinner, KJ?
I guess. Fantastic question. Your boy went and picked up some sandwiches. Sounds real lame, but there's like an Eatsies esque place down the street called Brennan's. Picked up one for now, one for later. The Panthers. I guess we've got a month until the draft, so I don't know how much I care to talk about the Panthers picking up the number 1 pick, but that's notable.
Very notable. It was atop my list until the Rodgers thing broke. Yeah, rumor is that they're very interested in 2 guys. Would you like to guess who those 2 quarterbacks are?
Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
Max Duggan.
No. Dylan.
Anthony Richardson.
Uh-huh.
Max Duggan.
No,
just kidding.
Just kidding. It's Stroud.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I'm anytime something like this happens, you start seeing leaks like, oh, they're really, really high on this guy. You're like, all right, well, what are they trying to throw off? Like what else do they have planned? But I like both those dudes. And it sounds like the Texans, who I think were, obviously they got the 2nd pick and they were first in line to get boned on this deal. I don't know where they're at, but they're going to have a quarterback there at 2 that they're going to like.
Who do they like? They like Bryce?
Man, my sources in Houston have been pretty quiet. I think they do like Bryce, but they're also high on CJ Stroud.
I'm going CJ, dog.
You going CJ? I think he's the odds-on favorite to go 1. I think he's going to Carolina. I think the Anthony Richardson thing is – I still like him a lot. I might take him over Bryce Young, which a lot of people would say is insane. But
I'll be interested to see where Levis, whatever, where he ends up getting picked, because I feel like at the end of the season, that was the name that we began to hear out of nowhere, that inevitably by draft time, he would be like the unquestionable Mike Mayock number 1 overall pick after not hearing his name at all during the actual season. And I'm kind of glad it hadn't gone that way. As somebody who roots for a team that drafted Blake Bortles, who went through a very similar transition, like I'm kind of predisposed to just hate on players who just out of nowhere become the guy in the offseason.
speaking of the guy, we didn't get to this last week. The Giants are all in on the guy, one Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
4-year deal.
4-year deal. 160 mil.
I've read mixed reviews on this. As someone who is a fan of a team that plays them twice a year,
Love it.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, no one's threatened by this. This is he's fine. He's good. He's fine. He's not like he's not going to go out and get the game for you, which the Cowboys have the same kind of quarterback. So
They franchise Saquon, correct? So they're
Yes.
running back the Saquon DJ thing. When healthy, that is a good tandem. Really, really strong on the ground. It's the whole throwing the ball thing that is the question.
which he's pretty good at.
And they're bringing back Sterling Shepard.
Pretty good.
I think,
Yeah, no,
not notable on like a league level, but he's, I believe, their number one wide receiver.
Why does it feel like he's been in the league for 15 years?
yeah, that offense kind of stinks. Kind of stinks.
Yeah.
It's not great. They'll go out and get you 21 a game.
There you go. 21 a game. Garoppalo to the Raiders. KJ mentioned that earlier, but is that an upgrade from Derek Carr?
No,
No,
It doesn't feel like it, right?
Derek Carr's a better quarterback than Garoppolo. Garoppolo, however, is much better looking,
Well,
and that matters.
well, all right. So, to each his own.
He's a very handsome guy.
He is a hot guy. And, I would be not using my platform to its fullest extent if I didn't say this is huge for the Italian American community after what they did to Paul Sorvino last night, or didn't do, I should say.
Right.
So getting Garoppolo in there. Garoppolo in Vegas is a problem. I don't know what his marital status is, but that dude in Vegas is a problem, right?
looking forward to seeing him at Drace sometime in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a problem
I hope that's
wherever he
how that's
goes,
pronounced.
Dave.
KJ, I don't know what that is. Is that the club that you decided to buy a $2,000 bottle of champagne at?
Yeah, you're never in
Hey, he
charge.
was-
Never again are you in charge of buying a bottle wherever we go.
We all need to take this conversation to your biz dev guy who booked that.
Mhm.
We
Who
should do a
cornered us,
roundtable
and I
on
pointed
Dylan's
at the bottom
bachelor
of the
party.
menu.
I had 2.25 ounces of Dom. Like, I guess we can get out of here now.
It might have
I
been a
stormed
saving
out of there
grace.
immediately.
It was probably a saving grace because we just had a very boozed up dim sum brunch.
You almost said Dimmadome, didn't you?
I did. Fucking the Dimmadome owns so much real estate in my head. It's insane. No, so we go do that, which was a great brunch, maybe the highlight of the meals in Vegas. And we walk over to this club next door that, Brett has set up, talk to the guy, and it's their grand opening. And it's like 3:00 in the afternoon. And we're like 8 of like 30 people in there.
Mhm.
But they're still doing the sparklers. They've got the signs up for Dylan's bachelor party, bottle service girls and stuff. And
Logos of one of the shows on the ceiling. I don't even know if we want to call that out. That was actually kind of cool. That might have been the highlight of that whole.
I did
moment.
forget about that. And we did get some really dope photos of Flounder. But KJ, honestly, you saved us by doing the champagne, because had we sat there and bought, like, let's say we did like a $500 ball at Tito's, which is how much that
Wasn't
would
an
cost.
option.
Okay. Had we done something like cheaper that was like a bottle of liquor, we would have been there for a while. Instead, we got in. It was the most tactical club experience ever. We had our dom, and then we were out within 25 minutes.
I
Saved
walked
us
out
all
as soon
trouble.
as like pin hit the paper on the lit up folio. I immediately walked out. I don't even know if I drank the champagne. I wasn't even there long enough to like say it angrily just for the shits and grins. But in hindsight, we lost more money at the blackjack tables in that casino after that event than we did in that restaurant.
It was an
Anyways,
expensive 3 hours, 4 hours.
We had some
still
trouble
the best
there.
purple pancakes I ever had, but that didn't outweigh everything else that happened.
You guys, any more breaking NFL news before we move on?
No. But I will ask if anyone or Randy sees it go official on Aaron Rodgers, which, there's no reason to, I guess it's popping up on NFL Network. So might as well lock that in. So here we go.
Yeah, Randy, you're going to be our hot stove guy. Keep an eye on it. Oh yeah, okay. So the big outlets are running with it now.
Yeah. Yep.
They're doing the classic report. Like, hey, we're not saying this, but some are saying Rodgers to the Jets is done. Guys, we just talked about our Vegas trip, and one thing I took with me to Vegas was my Shady Rays. You know why? I'm tired of losing expensive sunglasses or breaking them. I've lost so many on like trips, on bachelor party trips in the past. There's nothing worse than buying a pair of expensive sunglasses and losing them right after you get them.
I like non-expensive sunglasses that look expensive, like Shady Rays.
They look good.
They look damn good.
You were wearing them yesterday.
I sure shit was, Dave.
They're durable, built to tackle all of life's outdoor adventures. Their styles are timeless and on point. They make me look good. And that's they're doing a lot. They do a lot for me. It's part of my glow up. Plus, all Shady Rays have polarized lenses for crystal clear vision and strong sun protection. That's the real test of a good pair of shades. KJ, you got yours. Are you liking them? I think I know the answer.
Love them. They have become my primary sunglasses of choice. Every morning, phone, wallet, keys, Shady Rays out the door.
Wow.
That's big. I go through that same 1, 2, 3. Speaking of strong, here's why I don't worry about losing or breaking my Shady Rays ever. Every pair is backed by their industry-leading lost and broken replacements program. Break or lose your pair the second you take them out of the box, they will send you a replacement pair for free. How about that? How many sunglass companies are doing that?
I don't know.
This is huge for me. I started this read off by saying I lose them all the time. I also break them. I will break some sunglasses in a golf cart on you. I'm really bad about that. It's
true,
happened multiple
folks.
times. With every order, the Shady Rays Impact Program works with nonprofits worldwide to make an impact on the lives of children and young adults, like building play sets for pediatric cancer patients and creating adventures for young adults with cancer and MS. You and Shady Rays are making an impact together. How about that, man? Again, how many
Nice.
sunglasses companies are doing that?
I don't know the answer, but probably not many.
What's better than getting one pair of Shady Rays and not worrying if you break them or lose them? Getting two. Go to shadyrays.com/bang and use code BANG. And for a limited time, when you buy a pair of Shady Rays, you'll get a second pair for free. That's shadyrays.com/bang. SHADYRAYS.com/bang. Use code BANG to get a second pair of Shady Rays free. That's a great deal. ShadyRays.com/bang. Code BANG.
Every morning.
Oh, you guys want to talk Bullies of Baltimore?
Let's talk it.
Sorry, that was a little Sugar Ray for you.
I was letting you go. Kind of
Yeah,
faded
I
out
forgot
there.
that
Not a lot of oomph behind that. You knew where the true singing alpha lies, and it's right
I meant to
here.
go, I want Shady Rays, and forgot which song I was going to pull.
It's good. That's fine. We watched the Bullies of Baltimore. It's the highly touted 30 for 30 on the 2000 Baltimore Ravens team. I have to tell you, most of this was new to me. I don't, outside of the some of the more newsworthy stories, I don't remember a lot
Like
of
what?
this. We'll get to that. And maybe we'll talk about it as much or more than the actual documentary did.
What are you talking about? Which part?
Ray Lewis questioned for the murder of two men, the stabbing of two men.
That surely that's not new to you. What do you mean?
Right.
He's like, everything else was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I was no.
I thought you were saying that's like, well, no,
No.
you know about that.
No, I'm well aware. This was pretty much the Shannon Sharp, Tony Siragusa show.
Yeah, I was going to
Mhm.
say, without Goose and Shannon Sharp, who are some seriously compelling characters, I didn't need to hear from Trent Dilfer.
I thought Dilfer was compelling because, I mean, he was widely shit upon, even after he won the Super Bowl. Some tough looks there for some commentators. Our guy Troy Aikman, oh man, just biting. But yeah, I mean, like they moved on from him after he won the Super Bowl, and I do not remember the him being with Tampa Bay. I don't remember him attacking whoever that was. Was it Randall?
John Randall.
John Randall.
Mhm.
Hall
like-
of Famer.
Like if that happened today, like we're talking about that like for the next 6 weeks. He actually tried to attack that man.
Yeah. A bad man, John Randall.
KJ, what were your initial thoughts?
Growing up a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, I was very aware of Trent Dilfer. and his role in being absolutely spare. I guess you want to start documentary overall or Trent Dilfer in general?
Wherever you
Because
want to go.
with Trent Dilfer, I've got to at least confess to like John Randall, member of the Vikings, Hall of Fame Viking, former Aggie. I didn't realize, Texas native. I've got to admit that I occasionally will think that he's no longer with us because Michael Clark Duncan died.
Okay.
And those are two different people. Just completely
Yeah,
two
they
different
absolutely
individuals.
are. One was the star of
Green
the
Mile.
Green Mile.
The other is Hall of Famer again from the Vikings. So, with that said, Troy Aikman was right about Dilfer. Kind of sucks. Kind of sucked that year. Got the job done. And kind of an ass. Still kind of not like a jerk all around, but like I think he somehow thinks he's, I don't know. I feel about him like some individuals feel about Ron Jaworski. He ain't that great. Can you tell him?
Oh, Jaws? Come on, don't
Jaws,
slight
dog.
Jaws.
Well, he's a friend of mine, so.
Brian Billick. That's a name that like I hadn't thought about in a while, but he came out of this looking pretty good in my book. In fact, I loved him, and it made me like jealous that I do like Mike McCarthy, but Brian Billick he seems like the perfect coach for that team.
Okay.
Not much to expound upon there.
Not on that. My points were not going to be about Brian Billick. He didn't
Okay.
really leave much of an impression on me. My watching it, I was like, man, I feel like Siragusa died right around when this was filmed. And so I wonder if he like it was just it was weird watching it. And then of course you learn that he died a month after they stopped filming.
Was Goose good on the sideline? I feel like he wasn't, but it surprises me that he wasn't, and I'm wondering how much of it was a chemistry fit. Not like on the sideline of like an actual game when he was doing commentary.
I feel like he was good because he wasn't asked to carry, much of the broadcast. Like they would just throw down to him. He would be on the field, like under the goalposts, just like making just quick comments about what's going on the field. And like he was really good in small doses like that. He wasn't going to carry an entire segment or anything.
He was their Smiley Kaufman.
But he was, yeah. Obviously, such a character, very funny guy. Kind of felt like someone who was very widely beloved. Goose was a fun character to have around, for sure.
Not aware of the Goose Phil Simms beef.
I don't know how much beef there actually was. He made one comment.
It seems
Right.
like he didn't let it go,
As
he's still talking about it 22 years later.
yeah.
Shannon Sharp was Shannon Sharp. He's going to do Shannon Sharp things. I thought he was really good. The Tim, whatever the linebacker was that had the Shannon Sharp.
Johnson? Was it Johnson?
Jackson. That was A+ stuff.
Yeah.
I forgot that they were the first Hard Knocks team.
That's how long this show's been on?
Yep, 2000. I guess it was 2001. It was the year after they won the Super Bowl,
Gee,
right?
I had no idea. I would have guessed like 9 years.
I've
been way off.
Yeah, and I remember that the first time the Cowboys were on it. I'm pretty sure it was a Quincy, like Chad Hutchinson. It was a really, really shitty Cowboys team. Also a shitty Cowboys team in 2000 as they got absolutely shut out by the
Noticed
the
that.
Ravens.
Yeah.
There's KJ. You're back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was here the whole time.
Your
I don't
screen
know
went
what's
out.
going on.
Yeah,
with
we're
the
having some issues.
connection, but I've got you, but whatever. Brian Billick, I'll add real quick. I completely forgot about his experience with the Vikings. My dad's been a Vikings fan since he was a kid, so kind of how I became a Bucks fan. Somebody else that was in that division. Blah 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 blah. The Randall Cunningham, Randy Moss, Chris Carter, like 98 season, one of the best offenses of all time. Far and away, like one of the most fun football watching experiences like I've ever had. So to know that he was like the offensive coordinator behind that, and you pair him with Marvin
Lewis.
Lewis, I don't know why Smoot was stuck in my head, whatever. Marvin Lewis. Like that's just a tremendous duo. For Jack Del Rio to get so much FaceTime because of Ray Lewis's greatness, I could do without. But Peter Boulware was also tremendous. So like, he deserves credit.
Was Billick the mastermind of that? I guess that was the year that Randy Moss absolutely pummeled the Cowboys on Thanksgiving in '98, right?
Yes.
So that was
Yes.
Billick. I guess I never gave him credit for being an offensive mind like to that extent.
It's because you associate
Because
him
of
with,
how shitty Dilfer was.
well, you associate him with coaching the Ravens, which
Yeah.
was a defensive juggernaut.
If-
So it's
yeah.
like he must be a defensive guy. I guess he just wasn't.
Shows my ignorance on that because like I was like, oh wow, this dude does like an old school football guy who doesn't want to run the ball like 35, 40 times. Like that's crazy. But
The other element of that is they mentioned he is out of BYU, which BYU in the 80s was like known to be a passing juggernaut. Steve Young, of course, of BYU fame, like all of that adds up for Brian Billick. So I'm like, I just didn't realize. Again, I was unfamiliar with the game prior to Baltimore. About Siragusa. To what extent do you feel that the prominence of The Sopranos contributed to his popularity as a very large personality that was from New Jersey and also Italian American?
I'm almost positive he cameoed in at least one Sopranos episode. Like I'm pretty sure that happened. It was either Sopranos or some other mob movie. But no, there's no doubt about it. I mean, like that character that you just described, that plays to this day. Like big, yeah, he was big time Tommy before big time Tommy.
Quintessential like muscle for
Yeah,
mafia family.
exactly. And
Frank Cortese.
it helped that he was out there and he would give you a soundbite, and normally it was a good soundbite, but yeah, I think back to him on the sidelines, and was he with was it Daryl Johnston's crew? Was it him? Was it Kenny?
Albert and Daryl Johnson.
I think he just got mixed in with the wrong team because I feel like that should have worked better, and maybe it did work better than I thought. But I remember toward the end there, it was kind of like, didn't they have him in like a goose mobile or something? It was like a whole deal.
Goose on the Loose, I think, was the whole like title of that. But like we eventually had the Booger Mobile, so like
That's maybe what
it's
I'm
not
thinking
like
of.
TV got better. I think what happened with him is, so he was fired in 2015. The last season before he was fired, he was with Tom Brenneman and Charles Davis. I think it was more of like television getting tired of that personality, or not personality, but of that role, that sideline character role. Pam
Oliver,
I'm
Aaron
terrible with names.
Andrews.
Pam Oliver. I'm so bad with names. Pam Oliver and Aaron Andrews like were like skyrocketing to popularity at this time. Aaron Andrews being with the A Crew on Fox. So like I think America was more, or TV was looking for, hey, we need somebody who's not the 350-pound uncle making fart jokes in between plays. We'd rather it be Christina Pink or whatever.
Fair. Not the easiest on the eyes.
Goose though, man.
How do y'all think they handled the documentary the double murder?
They didn't spend very much time on it at all. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was very topical, and then they spent more time talking about how the media discussed it than they did like actually like, whoa, what happened here?
Question: is there a documentary out there about that only? There is, KJ? Okay.
I believe it's
Because-
2 Knives, 1 Suit, but
Right.
I don't
There's
think
no
that's
way.
actually the name. I'll
There's
look
no way.
2
It's
knives,
not
1
named
suit.
that.
Yeah, this show just kind of I don't know, just went real fast by it. Just like, yeah, he was by the way, he ratted on the other guys that were with him.
He did turn state witness on him.
But they were eventually acquitted themselves, and so Yeah, it was weird. He was obviously much more involved than this
Well,
documentary alluded to. The
Dylan,
whole
like
suit thing that was like thrown in a dumpster or whatever.
he had the ball and it was 4th and life.
Yeah.
What would you do if you had the ball? If they gave you the ball, they called your number, KJ, and it's 4th and life. How would you handle it?
You never know how you're going to react.
I-
And I gave a misleading statement to the police, for that. I apologize. And but nobody knows what they're going to do when the game's on the line. I got teammates who look to me to know what to do in that moment, and I did.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have gone football analogy during that,
Mhm.
but I'm not Ray Lewis.
How did he not go super religious?
He did later on.
Late, like, ugh.
He understood that you needed to have a little bit of time. Like if you go right to that, then they're like, whoa, what's going on here? What are you hiding? But no, I thought, man, that was such a weird time, and I don't know how that's treated if it happens today.
The murder?
The double
We would
murder.
have 10 podcasts and it wouldn't be unsolved still.
Is it really still? So it's still open.
Yeah, because he's doing TV.
Right. Well, no, I knew that. I thought maybe
Yeah,
they found the guys,
No.
much like how, we're all trying to find the guy who did this.
Yeah, I think it's the parts that they glossed over was that his testimony was against his co-defendants. But his co-defendants were also found not guilty. Nobody went to jail for it because I think it was a situation where they were all pointing at one another, so to speak. Or there was an I don't know, and none of the stories were corroborated. And it was only them three in the alley and the deceased, I believe.
Did he miss any football? They said
No.
that he didn't go to like Hawaii for the Pro Bowl or whatever. So I guess this all went down at the end of the season. But did it completely get wrapped up before the next season had started? Yeah.
They had him there by day one of spring training,
Jeez.
or like fall camp, because he did his press conference and moved on.
Wow.
That I guess I valued that they laid out the timeline. I thought that it happened after their Super Bowl, but it was after the year before where he was just attending, as a fan or whatever, you know what I mean, for the events surrounding it. That made much more sense in hindsight. Overall, what did you think about the documentary, David? I know you were a little bit hyped on this going into it, so I want to reserve.
I thought it was above average for 30 for 30. Not the best they've done. Certainly not the best, but with a limited topic, and like what I knew was an interesting team, but I didn't fully comprehend how many good personalities were involved. But yeah, I give it, 3.5, 4 stars. We're doing a 1 to 5 scale.
You didn't ask me, but I'm gonna answer the question too.
Go ahead. Yep, you're next.
I wanted more Shannon Sharp. He didn't have a major presence in this documentary. He was there and he was on stage for that whole presentation thing, which I thought was a little weird to just feature that throughout the. I don't think this team was all that compelling. I don't know. Like, yes, Goose was a major personality, and so was Shannon Sharp. But like, it was a good defense and a shitty offense, and they won a Super Bowl, and then they were dismantled. Like, that team is not really on my radar of like great teams that I want to know about. I don't know. It didn't do much for me. Not enough Shannon Sharp. The Goose angle added a major element because of course, his recent passing and all that. But didn't love it.
I forgot about Tony Banks. I know, KJ, he's in your top 5. I heard you say that earlier.
Dante Culpepper actually edged him out upon further review.
Oh, he got bumped?
I don't remember that name at all, and he's terrible.
Dude, I swear I think he was in Cowboys camp at one time. Like, I feel like he was.
No, he started for the Cowboys.
Yeah, okay.
And
like
started for
2002, 2003. Like, he was might have been the predecessor to Quincy in that whole deal.
So Tony Banks started for the Cowboys. He obviously, I think that's where he went next after the Rams, was to the Cowboys. Before that, the reason he was there was the Rams had their whole Kurt Warner. Tony Banks preceded Kurt Warner. And then who was it? Matt Bolger was after that. But like after Bolger arrived, Tony Banks, I think, got his big contract with Baltimore. Obviously, as they played the Titans, they were talking about, oh, this is one of the best teams in the league, not highlighting that the Titans and the Rams, like, I believe, were the Super Bowl the year before, and that was the Eddie George Madden cover year. So, like, it was a tremendous deal to be playing the Titans at that time. They didn't do a good job of framing, like, their offense being so bad, aside from the Rams back then, very few offenses were like lighting it up. Okay, let me pause it. The Rams, the Vikings, as we've already established, and then maybe the Colts were on their way, like with the Peyton Manning years. Like, it just wasn't a lot of like big, gaudy number NFL teams. Like, we didn't get into the point where like Texas high school football offenses were running the NFL and putting up 30, 40 points. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
No, that's how I remember it. What was it? They went 4 games without scoring a touchdown. Something crazy.
5.
5.
That I completely forgot.
yeah.
I'm glad they highlighted that.
That's insane.
The goof on the roof was probably my favorite character in the show.
Yeah. Wasn't privy to that. Did not know about that. KJ, you were right. But here, so leading into the 2001 season, Tony Banks was signed by the Cowboys to replace Troy Aikman. However, on August 15th, 2001, he was abruptly released, and they went with Quincy Carter. So I don't think doesn't sound like he ever played a snap, which is my memory
Maybe
of
just
it.
Preseason.
Yeah.
I may be related to somebody who owned a Tony Banks jersey, so that's why it's in my head. And it probably was like acquired via like Mission Arlington donation box or something. So that all adds up.
Yeah, that guy stunk.
Just tell people it's a Lloyd Banks jersey because you're a big G Unit guy.
It would have been worth more back then in 01. Okay. My overall thoughts on the documentary, again, being a big Buccaneers fan at that time, who Bucks win the Super Bowl 2 years later, always preaching about how Derek Brooks had more tackles in 2000, more turnovers in 2000, or whatever year was like Ray Lewis's MVP year. And like Derek Brooks didn't get the shine. I kind of came into it predisposed to be like, F them. But I kind of forgot how tremendous like of a roster they had. Ozzie Newsome should have been on that stage and like been the focal point of how the hell did we get all of these pieces in one place? Like, well, it came at the cost of having Brandon Stokely and Quadri Ismail as your like wide receivers, but still, like, that's a loaded team. But overall, was not a fan of like the production of the documentary. Really liked the stories that I learned from it, because all of the interviews were done on the same day as that event, like with the world's worst laptop camera angle. Like, if I had to stare at Brian Billick's like sweat stains looking down at me again, I was losing my mind about 10 minutes in with that.
Brittany walked in while I was watching. She goes, "What is this camera angle?"
It's
like a fisheye lens. It was just really strange.
Like, and I kept going back to what would a Cowboys, like if the Cowboys did the same exact thing, they probably wouldn't be able to have it emceed by like their PR guy because, you know, he was fired for like upskirt shots. But,
okay, if they've hired someone new in the position, I'm sure. But yes, that is true.
I also don't think that Jerry or their PR guy would like steer the conversation towards a Charles Haley, why'd you shit in that sunroof story, as like they did with Saragusa having, you know, bubble guts before a game. So like, it just was a weird, like,
it doesn't work.
The Cowboys crowd would be so much different. Like, that would be a black tie event with all of the Cowboys players up there from, I don't know, you pick a Super Bowl year.
It would be like $5,000 a ticket, and it would be the Jerry Jones show. And
Charlie Kirk would be hosting.
And he would intentionally leave Jimmy out. So no, it does not work in Dallas. And it would, maybe you'd get Barry.
Sorry, I didn't mean Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. What?
I meant to say Kenny Chesney.
Oh.
I was trying to think country artists, and for some reason Charlie Kirk.
Why is Kenny Chesney getting so much play in this company the last 2 weeks? I think it's the Randy effect. All right. Well, that was fun. We'll be doing more of that here in the off season. Yeah. We'll try to give you all more notice that we're watching it, so you can watch or rewatch and listen along with the fellas.
Shout out to Jake Locke. I feel like you know, that's
Luke.
my mental Luke, damn it, contribution to him being a 2-time, maybe 3-time guest on the pod, and big Ravens fan.
Big Ravens fan. Hey, what's up with the cat?
Ooh-wee.
He
What's up
seems
with
to
the cat?
be entangled in a little situation.
So when this dropped Thursday or Friday, I saw Tiger trending, and I was like, "Oh, this probably isn't anything good." And I clicked it, and I saw how it was being portrayed, and I was like, "Oh no, I can't mentally go through this again with the guy." Because there's just been a lot. But here's what's going on. So he's been dating Erica Herman for quite some time, 6 or 7 years, I think. She's been with him. She was with him when he won his Masters.
Mhm.
She's there with the family, and apparently he's been living with him in one of their very, very nice homes. But she is now alleging, through a complaint filed, that she's been wrongly evicted. Now, what is she saying might have happened? Well, she says that she was tricked or convinced to pack a suitcase for a short vacation. And when she arrived at the airport, someone told her that she had been locked out of the home.
There was no vacation, correct? There was no.
It was a
flight
forever
booked. There
vacation.
was no flight booked. She showed up to the airport ready to go on a trip, bags packed, probably had like a big goofy straw hat on. And they're like, by the way, not only are you not going anywhere, you can't get into your crib anymore either.
Also, we're done.
Yeah. Also, you, as you might guess, the relationship is over at the same time. So sorry.
So
You think they told her like while she's at pre-check, or you think she was at like an Aunt Annie's waiting in line?
You got to think they fly pry, as it is Tiger Woods.
man, that would be something. That should have been a giveaway if she like they handed her like a fake Delta ticket.
You're flying coach, babe. I'll meet you there.
Sorry, babe, times are tough.
Yeah. By the way, was Tiger not with her on the way to the airport?
No.
So he was like, "Yeah, I'll just."
He sent a car.
I'll meet you there.
He had one of his guys.
Yeah.
He had Patsy Parisi go pick her up.
I'm coming from the range. Like, I'll just meet you there.
She goes on to allege that agents of the trust, who is the named defendant in this, presumably Tiger or somebody on his behalf, removed her belongings from the residence and stole $40,000 in cash, making defamatory allegations about how she obtained the money. Don't know what that means exactly. So it sounds like so she had $40K in cash, and they took that, and I'm wondering if that might be what the precursor to the breakup. I don't know if if Tiger's camp thinks she stole that money or what.
Well,
Very up in the air.
Are we to assume so? Removed her belongings and stole $40,000 in cash. Again, us reading the thread and not the original document probably leads to this confusion by me. Like, was the $40,000 like Tiger's, and we're saying like she was alleged to have stole it?
No.
Like they took it, saying that she took it.
Well, okay, yes, and then she is saying that was defamatory because yes,
Got it.
they took her money, what she says is hers that she rightfully earned. I don't know that there's not a ton out there, and I don't think Tiger's
I
answered the suit yet.
Got it.
But
And then, was she not at the event earlier? I guess I thought I saw her at the Genesis event with Tiger.
so
this happened
maybe.
late 2022, right? So it could have been.
Yeah,
This
and
could have
maybe
been
it's just
fairly
a
recent.
different woman that was there, but there was
Yeah, I don't
somebody inside the
remember that.
ropes, like with his kids.
Yeah, the wrongful
And-
eviction apparently was on late October 2022. So this could have been pretty recent.
I've got to confess that like my source on remembering that she was at the event is Fake Tiger's recap the day after the Genesis opened. So
Sure.
I don't know if that's accurate.
The best source I've seen on like that has just followed this and done write-ups on it is Lumber Law at Lumber Law. Don't really know what his association with Big Lumber is, but either way, he's covered this quite well. So she's also in a separate claim. She is looking to invalidate, and this is what got all the headlines: the non-disclosure agreement, the NDA that she signed, presumably at the beginning of her relationship with Tiger. Not uncommon. Powerful people do this. The rich and famous. Celebs have people sign NDAs all the time. But there is a federal law that prohibits an NDA from being enforced if there's allegations of sexual assault or sexual harassment. Her suit does not make any of those claims, but she does cite that law. So it's interesting. I don't know if there's more coming down the pipe, but that's what was getting all the TMZ headlines because, it's and everybody's running with like, oh, dude, Tiger sexual whatever. When we don't really know, and we don't know if we'll get anything else on that. But I guess the biggest shocker in all this is like, dude, why don't you just pay her, dude? Like, just pay her what she wants. She was with you for all that time. Why do you have to do shit so weirdly? Like, you remember the Tiger doc? We did a whole podcast on it where he broke up with someone via, didn't he write his like sweetheart a letter because his parents like didn't want him dating her anymore?
She's asking for $30 million.
Correct.
You're saying just pay her the $30 million?
I would pay her I would pay her a sum to where it's like he's not in the news for this stuff. He's got enough going on. He can barely walk a golf course.
I understand he's a very rich man, but 30 million is 30 million. That's a significant amount of money for anybody.
Yeah, and she's not going to get 30 million, but
I mean, break her off
I feel like
a stack, but Jesus.
I feel like this could have been handled before this, but it sounds like it's not going well.
30 million's enough to where like she's still showing up at places that you could frequent with ease. Like that keeps her access in your like circle of I don't know, your sway houses. She's eligible to still be a member in those places. Like I don't want to give her that much.
How much?
I would say the 40K shouldn't have come up. Like that should have been a issue. That's the cardboard boxes in that one Miles Teller and Jonah Hill movie. Like you just don't cut that corner. That should have never come up.
How much did he lose in the Elin divorce?
I think it was a significant amount.
Million, I want to say.
Oh, I think it was in the hundreds of millions.
It was at least six figures. At least.
Right.
I haven't seen, this is kind of just fallen by the wayside. No one's really talking about it anymore, but we're going to monitor it.
10 mil. Estimated 110.
110?
God damn.
It's a lot.
Damn, she's eating good.
Está mucho dinero.
Man, that Babbel is really
working. The Babbel's paying off for KJ. For most of us, learning a second language in high school or college wasn't exactly a high point of our academic careers. A couple years of Spanish, a couple years of Italian in college. Got news. Didn't retain a ton of it. But now thanks to Babbel, the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions, there's an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language, whether you're traveling abroad, connecting in a deeper way with your family, or you just have some free time, Dylan. Mm-hmm. Babbel teaches bite-sized language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. I've been brushing up on my Italian. I feel like there could be a squad trip to Italy sometime in the next couple years. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I'd love to stunt on y'all as I order in Italiano.
I hope I catch that invite.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you gonna get a nice Chianti at dinner?
I'll probably get a Chianti and some scampi. KJ, what are you brushing up on? Oh, I think we already know, but just tell us.
Es más español, compadre.
Wow. It sounds like Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it perfect for KJ and you to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans. AI, artificial intelligence, what? But Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent. There's so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/bang. That's Babbel, BABBEL.com/bang for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life. Who
Is it
wants
already
to
time
party?
to party? Sheesh.
Let's party. This is the part of the show where we podcast, talk sports, and we party at the same time.
Chris Beard has a new job. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Yeah, we did. We listened to the intro.
Okay, yeah. Ole Miss hired him. It was announced today.
You know what? People aren't properly crediting Brett Merriman, who's been all over this.
Yeah, he's up on those message boards.
He really is.
They nailed this. Yeah, you know what? Fresh start. Get out of Dodge. Get out of town, and we'll see. Hopefully, he figures his shit out, man.
Yeah.
Stops allegedly.
Domestic abusing.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the allegation. Charges dropped, but
Yeah.
allegation was there. How about the Tar Heels just declining a bid?
I like this move. I don't know why.
They got
I
a
like
bottom
it.
tier bid, and they just said no way.
Yeah. We're just gonna stay. We're just gonna call it.
This sucks, right?
I think it sucks for the players. I don't think that there's much for them to necessarily gain. But again, you give your players the opportunity to decline. I don't think you unilaterally make that decision for them. If you've already had that discussion internally, great. Say, team decision, we're electing not to play. Fine, but don't say we're focused on next year, because I think that's trash.
Yeah, I forgot that they were preseason number 1. They were preseason number 1, I believe, and missed the first ever to miss a tournament completely. Now I think this is a bad look, and I think now you're just kind of setting yourself up for like an off season with players like comments like, "Yeah, we should have played. I didn't agree with it," and it just looks bad. I think, but I don't know. I don't really watch much NIT.
People forget that Texas won the NIT a couple years ago.
And look at them now, conference champs
2 seed.
without Chris Beard.
Beat the absolute brakes off Kansas for the second time in I think 10 days. Your 1-seeded Kansas Jayhawks, that is, regular season Big 12 champs. Yeah, they're playing great right now. It's good to see.
Randy, give us like at least 2 minutes on Purdue, because I mean we'd be remiss if we did not talk about your Boilermakers. Go ahead, bud.
Purdue will get knocked out in the Sweet 16 because it is what it is.
Oh,
Randy very high on his.
it's not a ringing
his
endorsement
Boilermakers.
because it
Zach
is
Edey, not happy to hear about this.
what it is.
But then again, he's probably not listening until a high schooler lets him know it, huh?
Okay.
Hey,
Wow,
got him.
Oh, that's sturdy from KJ.
Always a pleasure, Randy. Man, we went into the weekend thinking, oh, we'll definitely talk Players Championship. Like, that's always some good drama. Turns out it wasn't. Scotty Scheffler,
He's
Highland
ice
Park's
cold,
own. The number 1 player in the world. He is just
He's a killer.
he's on a tear.
He is
Quite the
on a
tear.
tear.
Won 6 of his last 27 tournaments. That's insane.
It is.
What can you say? He he was like up like 5 or 6 strokes. I think it was a six stroke victory. Was never interesting, and I actually found myself watching, like, oh, dude, there's a lot of money on the line for second place. I guess I'll watch this.
Can't help but
Who
wonder
got
how
second, Hovland or Ricky Hatton?
Hatton got second. I believe 12 under. Yeah. Can't help but wonder how
Turl
well,
Hatton.
how well Scheffler would have done with the live players included. But, like Randy said, it is what it is.
What a negative outlook on your team.
It happens every year. I mean, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. So
Facts.
God.
How many other colloquialisms can you drop?
It's just the way the news goes.
It is what it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Other notable names in the top 10. We have Max Homa, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa started the weekend just really strong with 65 on Thursday, and then pretty after that. But what happened with no chin guy? Spaniard, former number 1. Why is his name escaping?
John
John Rahm.
He withdrew.
John
Why
Rahm.
did he withdraw?
What was the injury?
He was my number one overall pick in my draft that I did.
Oh, it was just illness.
So
Okay.
wasn't
No
very
word on if it was
pleased.
diarrhea, but you have to think it might have been. Maybe
Could've-
he had that gooseitis, that constipation.
Okay.
It's a
So he was
callback
down
to
with
the
sickness,
documentary.
and then Rory didn't make the cut, right?
No, not a good look. Not a tough time for Rory. All right, let's run it back.
Hold on, I'm adding one more.
Oh,
I missed. You get it. There we go. Okay. It's time to run it back, which of course is the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Dave didn't have a Paloma at Washfest, but Dylan and Dr. Z did. Of course, that's Dr. Zuckerberg.
it's true. He did speak at our panel.
KJ will be in Stew next week.
Can't wait.
Live
That's
and
really
in color.
exciting. The Brunch Boys know their Oscars shit, so check out their coverage. KJ has his ear to the streets in Wisconsin. Dave still does intermittent fasting, but now he just does it intermittently.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders didn't upgrade at quarterback, but they did upgrade their hotness.
Sex sells.
KJ is basically fluent in Spanish now, as he
Yeah.
displayed right before that Babel read. Randy said, "It is what it is, and that's the way the cookie crumbles in a span of about 2 minutes." So that's cool. John Rahm withdrew from the Players' Championship, possibly to constipation, but that is pure speculation. We don't know.
We don't know.
We
That's
don't.
all we can do is speculate. That's what we do here.
That concludes Run It Back.
Fun show. We'll be back next week with KJ in the house. Until then,
I
bye.
want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.